This is folk music at its best. Sing along if you know it. The legend lives on from the Chippewa on down the big lake they call Gitchigumi. The lake, it is said, never gives up her dead when the skies of November turn gloomy.
Coming to Stargazers Theater and Events Center, it's Eric Elison, the Lightfoot of the Rockies, and performing a tribute to legendary performer, composer, and more Gordon Lightfoot. I have Eric in the studio. Hello, Eric.
Hello, and how are you today?
Well, it's great to finally meet you and your wife.
Oh, Keith, it was great to meet you as well.
We've spoken before, and you're coming to Stargazers and doing a tribute to Gordon Lightfoot. All right, before, I want to talk about you and your background, but for those who don't know who Gordon Lightfoot is, who is he?
Well, I would just say he is Canada's favorite son. He is their favorite troubadour, and Canada's produced a bunch of great musicians, but Gordy is at the top.
Yeah, I've loved his music for decades. He's been performing for such a long time. He has such a library of recorded music, and he's been honored in Canada and elsewhere. Accolades from, I think, Robbie Robertson. Bob Dylan said something about he never heard a Gordon Lightfoot song he didn't like, and he
wished it would go on forever.
There you go. So, yeah.
And even guys like Jimmy Buffett have always aspired to write as well as Gordon Lightfoot.
Well, I'm not going to name all of his hits, but I'll touch on a few, like Sundown, Carefree Highway, Ribbon of Darkness, have that on cassette, Edmund Fitzgerald, of course, Seven Island Suite, which I think is one of my favorites, and you're going to be performing a lot of these.
Yep, absolutely. We'll be taking a deep dive into the catalog. We'll be playing not only the hits that people would expect, but we're going to be playing some songs that they may not have heard before, but I guarantee you they'll love them.
You have a lot to choose from.
Absolutely. In fact, that's the toughest part of this job.
You have a musical background. You come from a musical family?
Well, my mother was trained to sing opera, but after the war, she married a Navy guy and had a big family and gave up the stage. And it seems I may have inherited a bit of her talent.
You flew a plane in the Navy?
I was actually a navigator. But I was a naval flight officer. I flew aircraft for the Navy, large aircraft. My first squadron was attached to the Antarctic development program. And so I would fly down to Hawaii, New Zealand, and Antarctica.
While I was reading some of your information, you started singing like show tunes, just singing and then starting to play, and then you would play. One day someone said, you sound a lot like Gordon Lightfoot.
Yeah, I've gotten that a lot throughout my career. No matter what I'm singing or playing. I was playing at a folk festival in Iowa City, and a guy came up to me and he said, "Hey, I'm calling Gordy and telling you're channeling him." And that guy turned out to be Joni Mitchell's ex, Chuck Mitchell. Great entertainer, fantastic entertainer. And then later on, I recorded an EP after I quit my day job. I went to Nashville, recorded an EP of my own songs, and my producer suggested I record some Lightfoot, and I did. And the Lightfoot tribute show has really taken off.
I'll mention your website. It's ericellison.com, Eric, ELISON.com, social media. You have a release in the works. I'm not sure whether to call these CDs anymore, an album in the works, coming April 15th, is it?
Yep, April 15th, I'll be releasing a solo live album that I recorded in Wisconsin while I was on tour this fall at the Dells Palace. And the recording was just of such high quality, I had to release it. So I'll be doing that April 15th.
Wonderful. At this concert at Stargazers on Friday, January 27th, you'll have some other musicians with you and a couple of familiar names that I recognize.
Yeah, absolutely. I've got some great folks coming along, folks like Frank Sanchez, who'll be playing bass with me, Matt Podschweit, who will be playing keys and synth, KJ Braithwaite, who will be playing lead guitar, Bob Ely on drums, and a little bit of a twist, Dina Hollingsworth, who's a jazz flautist, and she'll be playing flute with me on stage. So all of them very talented people, and we're going to do our best to help people turn back the pages, as Gordy would say, to the times they love best.
That's great. Lightfoot is still around. Have you ever met him?
I have not had that opportunity, but strangely, I've had a few interactions with his management. So I'll just say I look forward to the day when I can meet Gordy and play a few of his tunes for him.
I'd like to mention another release you have that's available now. It's called Gordon and Me.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I did a 5-song EP of some of Lightfoot's hits, and I sell that at my show. And if folks are interested in that, they can reach out through the website and acquire it through there as well.
And I'll say one more thing. If you're not familiar with the music of Gordon Lightfoot, I would highly recommend you check it out. It's some good sounds. It makes you feel good. That's what I like about it so much. And his voice is just amazing. So
and the love of nature just comes out. I think
exactly.
that's anyone who's particularly living here in the West. If you love nature, you're going to love Lightfoot.
Well, I look forward to seeing this concert. It's coming up to Stargazers Theater and Events Center Friday, January 27th, 7 p.m. Doors open at 6. Information and tickets, stargazerstheater.com. To find out more about Eric Elison, ericellison.com. He's also on social media. And a new release called Just Me, coming out on April 15th. Eric, so nice to meet you.
And it's so nice to meet you, Keith, and thank you to KCME for hosting me.
To Simon, to be real. Thank you all very much. I'm Eric Elison. It's been my pleasure to play for you. Have a good evening. Thank you.